Yo, bro, I'm low-key faded, bro.
Highway.
What's this guy supposed to be, the ultimate badass?
They ain't ready. They ain't ready, Joe. They ain't ready. Here we go.
I'm gonna go almond rock here, guys.
I was like, what is it? You ain't Mexican. What is that?
Kind of looks you a little bit though, so kind of dig a little deep in there, right? But yeah, he's got that. He did that.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's episode of the Frisco Report, man. It's good to be back. You know, we were going to go yesterday, but, you know, time issues, this sort of thing happen. So we're here Wednesday night. We're talking Cowboys, Mike. The big win over the Raiders, a bad team, but they got it done, Mike. We moved from 3-5-1 to 4-5-1 and still sub 500. But a lot of fans seem to be rejuvenated as if we're on our way to the Super Bowl, bro. What's your thoughts on the win, quality of the win, and just, you know, how do you feel about it, man? How are you feeling right now, Mike?
It was a sloppy win, Joe. Sloppy win. You started off benching CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. You go 3 and out. Second drive, what happens? You go 3 and out. Took you a while to establish any type of running game. CeeDee Lamb still has the dropsies. Dropped it on there to run the score up on him. It was the Raiders, and we still look like the bad team coming off a bye week. And I get the distraction, and I get the tragic news that the locker's dealing with Marshawn. But you're going to play like that for Marshawn? And no, don't get me wrong. There was bright parts with Quinnen Williams. There was bright parts with Kenny Clark, right? But as the whole team, I wasn't satisfied, Joe. Wasn't satisfied at all. Fifth quarter Cowboys in the house.
Fifth quarter. What's up, bro? Good to see you in the house. Everybody, shout out to everybody that's watching us live around the world, the billions tuning in. We have a lot to talk about, man, because like we were talking just before we came on there, Mike. It's the Jets win all over again. Bring me the igloo or the whatever the hell of Kool-Aid and splash it the hell on me. That's what I feel like fans are doing right now, Mike. It is the Kool-Aid season within the season. So, Mike, I'm with you. The game, you know, I thought, you know, this is a game we should win. You know, we're moving the ball. We're kind of having our way. You know, Ferguson, Pickens, Lamb. Everybody had their moments. Like I said, that there were some bright spots. But you know, that's what you're supposed to do to a bad team. So, you know, we were the bully in the game. But I just didn't get like this great satisfaction, bro. Like, you know, the only thing I can take from it is maybe you can take this momentum into the next game. That's about it, man. And don't get me wrong. Well, you know, I want us to win, but at 4-5-1, still sub 500, Mike, it's going to be a tall order to get into the playoffs. Playoff stuff. Are we talking playoffs, Mike, or is this a delusional fan base? Like, are we even going to sniff a wild card position?
No, we're not. We're not winning another game until We play the Giants and the Commanders, and there's no guarantee we're going to beat them guys. All right, everybody, calm down. Let me take you down memory lane with these Dallas Cowboys. This was the Jets game 2.0. All right, don't buy the hype. Don't buy the hype, and you got to set yourself up for this. Let me say it slow. Let me say it loud and clear for the people in the back. Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson was for 2026. Did everybody get that? Press 1 to repeat. Press 2 to cancel. All right, everyone press 1. Quinnen Williams is for 2026. What we have between now and week 18 is a bonus. All right, let me say that again. Is a bonus with Quinnen Williams to get him acclimated to what we call the star. Okay, period, point blank.
Yeah. It was reported that Lamb was seen throwing up at 7 a.m. in the morning outside of one of the hotels or something like this. So him and Pickens had a good time. You know what I mean? 2 hours to get to the evening game. But it's more of, I mean, this isn't the 90s Cowboys, man. You know what I mean? Like the 90s Cowboys, we heard all the stories. You know, they were doing this and probably more, right? They had the White House and all this other crazy stuff. For these guys, trying to even sniff a wild card and out here doing this kinds of stuff, it's kind of ridiculous, bro. Like I'm a big fan of Lamb. That was kind of disappointing to me, man, to hear this stuff coming out about. You know, this like take it serious, bro. You know, and then you drop the easy touchdown at the end, and he was kind of nonchalant about it, like, oh well, like I dropped it. You know, what the hell, dude? Not good. Pickens looked good, man. Pickens kind of outplayed him, dude. He's kind of outplayed him the last few games here, but I'm with you, Mike. It's gonna like I don't know, man, if we're gonna win these next couple of games, but like the thumbnail says, right? You basically have to go 6-1 at the minimum. You know what I mean? If you lose even one more game, if you lose two more games in this stretch, you won't make a wild card. You have to even to be in the conversation. You can only lose one more game, Mike. And then
oh yeah, they're not. They're only going to win 2 more games, all right, and that's going to be the Giants and the Commanders game in week 17 and 18. These are playoff caliber teams, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If we were a good team, we would have beat the Cardinals. If we were any consistent of a good team, we would have beat the Broncos. Quinnen Williams doesn't help the offense. The offense has to go score points. Too many 3-and-outs against the Raiders, Joe. They're still a bad team.
Yeah.
And when we realize that, we sleep at night. We get to sleep at night. We sleep good.
We got a super chat here. Put my glasses on so I can read this. Mike Balerna. Good to see you guys again. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. How would you rate CD's performance this year and the rest of our wide receiver core not named George Pickens? He's been great. Yeah, I'll say this, Mike. I think to CD's performance, I think he's been doing good. You know, he's could have been better. We knew that the numbers were going to be a little down, I guess you could say, because Pickens, he's the one, I'm the one. You know, remember that shit? So those numbers are getting divided. But right now, Pickens seems to be more of the playmaker right now, you know, moving the chains. But there's no doubt, you know, Lamb is helping in that aspect. You know, you saw some of the plays where Lamb drew double coverage from the safety in the corner, and then Pickens was able to eat him up with the slants in the inside. So, you know, they feed off of each other. So I think CD's having a good year. You know what I mean? The rest of the receiver core, There is no rest. It's just those two guys. Jalen Tolbert sucks. Oh, Flournoy, the next Miles Austin. He made one touchdown, and they're talking about it again. He's Miles Austin, number 3 wide receiver. He ain't about shit, bro. Maybe next year. Maybe next year he can fill that role out. But right now, he had the one good game, and that was it. The other receivers aren't there. You know, basically your third pass catcher, Mike, is Ferguson. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I see it, Mike.
Yeah, dude, I am over the Kevontae Turpin special team. I'm over the Kevontae Turpin wide receiver. I think the Cowboys can do better without Kevontae Turpin. It's too much hype. He really doesn't provide anything, any substance that, you know, Ryan Flournoy couldn't do. He only has one kickoff return in his career for a touchdown. He could have had a couple more if it wasn't for penalties, but he got there because of the penalties. So I'm over the Kevontae Turpin thing. There's nothing special. There's nothing special there. This dynamic kickoff was supposed to launch Turpin into this whole nother stratosphere of touchdowns on kick return, and he hasn't got a single one. Remember all the hype with Bones Fossil? Bones Fossil pushed it. We've been practicing this since last year, even before it was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where's all these touchdowns, Kevontae Turpin? You're not any good. You're not any good. All speed, no ball. Okay, then let's look at Jalen Tolbert here, Joe. You mean to tell me Mozzie Smith only had trade value on the trade deadline? On the trade deadline, Mozzie Smith, the only player. No one wanted Jalen Tolbert. I'm sure the Cowboys shopped him because you got Mingo coming back. You have too many wide receivers. Tolbert was the odd man out, clearly, because now they're playing Ryan Flournoy. Speaking of Ryan Flournoy, I like Ryan Flournoy over any of these other guys. Any of these other guys. I like Ryan Flournoy better than Tolbert. I like him better than Mingo. I like him better than Turpin. I'm okay with Flournoy, Pickens, and CeeDee Lamb. I like that future setup. But we got to get better on offense here. And then, Joe, I don't know if you heard this or not, but guess who's tight end number 2? Hunter Lemke, the fullback. He's listed as tight end 2. Schottenheimer, you're supposed to be this 28-year veteran. You can't get a second-round pick like Schoonmaker involved. You can't get Brevin Spanford outside of blocking. What are we doing here with our wide receivers? There's a lot of pressure on CD. There's a lot of pressure on George Pickens because we can't get nobody else the ball. If it ain't Pickens or George or CeeDee Lamb catching that football, no one's catching it outside of Jake Ferguson. We got to be able to have more talent. And if we can't have that, Joe, this team ain't going to go very far, and they're not going to go very far even next year.
Yeah, no, you make some good points there, man, and I think that you're going to see that in the next couple of weeks here, as far as like better defensive coordinators, better coached up teams. You know, you shut down one or two of these receivers on our team, and it's over. It's a wrap. You know, the running game suffers. So, quick question here, Mike: why is the stream so small? So, StreamYard has two options here. So it's probably that you probably clicked on the smaller video. If you go, you'll probably see two of the same video. I think they're gonna have to tweak this because it's confusing some people. But if you click on the smaller one, it's gonna take you to the smaller stream. If you click on the other video, it'll take you to the full size one. If that makes any sense. So just click on the other one, and it'll take you to the correct size.
Yes, so there's a mobile version and there's the regular version. If you're on a mobile phone, you're going to get the mobile version. I don't think you can click the big version anymore. If you want to watch the big version, you got to go on the TV. Even if you go to a laptop, if you go to a laptop, it might be the big version. If you go to a tablet, it might be the mobile version. It all depends on what avenues your electronic will give you, if it gives you one or the other. Like on this one box that I got over here, that uncensored maybe by, it has both options, mobile or full version. So I'm watching the full version on the TV here.
Yeah. So just if you can click on the other one, and it should take you to the full version. So yeah, man, not to make it seem like, you know, we're not happy about the team. It's just, you know, it is like what Jar Jar Binks. We beat a terrible Raiders team. All right. Nick Stones, gotta give Guyton credit, Joe. He's been pretty consistent. Still room to. I don't know about pretty consistent. I mean, I will say this is the first game where I thought he played better. You know what I mean? Especially going up against Crosby. But no, I need to see the consistency, because in my opinion, he hasn't been consistent. He's been getting beat by some other sucky type of players. You know, but last night, I mean, the Monday night game is the first one where I really did think that maybe he had turned the corner, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I felt like, yeah, this guy did something. And then even the flop that he did, the acting, I thought that was I thought that was pretty nice too. So he's coming along, man. So he knows the nuances of playing that left tackle position here for the Dallas Cowboys. The expectations for your left tackle are huge, right? You got to fill these huge shoes of Tyron Smith, Flozo Adams, and the list goes on, right? So this was the first game where I thought that, yes, I think he played better here finally, Mike.
Yeah, you know, I've sat back and I've stuck up for Tyler Guyton here and there, you know, but I can confidently say that this was his better game. I think he was more nasty. This game. He finished his blocks. He put guys on their butts. He looked more confident. Now, there was rumors, Joe, that Mike McCarthy, when he's seen guys have their head down, and when I say guys, I mean rookies have their head down, the assistant coaches never corrected it. And Mozzie Smith, head down. Tyler Guyton, head was going down towards the end of the year, and they benched him. So Connor Riley is looking at that. White Cotton was looking at that too, and was like, no. We don't have your head down. Pick your head up and go back to work. And I think that's what we're seeing. I think that's the difference. Is Tyler Guyton's like, okay, I can make mistakes. I got the coaching staff that's going to back me up and help me. We got to remember, and no offense to the young guys watching the show, a lot of these young kids coming out are snowflakes. That they don't know what adversity is, Joe. And so if they get down in the swamps, their head stays down with it. And so these coaches got to take a whole nother step to baby these guys. I'm going to use that word, baby them. And Tyler Guyton had to be babied. And I think Connor Riley coming out of out of college, fresh out of college, learned how to adapt that, because I think when he was the head coach for Kansas State, he learned how to adapt that, and I think he's working that into the NFL with these young guys.
Yeah, definitely adding Riley into the mix, I think has been good. You know what I mean? I honestly thought that BB would have fared a lot better. I'm kind of surprised that I feel like he hasn't taken that next step. I think he's been okay. He's been good at times. He's been kind of bad at times, but I feel like he hasn't improved much. I feel like it's still like a better version of his rookie season, but you know what I mean? I think missing a lot of that time had something to do with that as well. BD with the super chat, Mike. Joe, you heard these Diggs and Nealon rumors? I have not. I don't know if anybody else has, but if you want to expand on those, BD, I have not heard anything of that. The only thing I heard was that the Cowboys do want Diggs to come back. The front office doesn't plan on IRing him for the rest of the season. They actually do want him to bring him back to the season when he's ready, which should be soon. So that would be good. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens there with Diggs. It's probably going to be his final games if he does get on the field, Mike. As for the Nealon rumor, I haven't heard anything about it. So if you have, let us know in the comments.
I haven't
What
heard
are the
anything.
rumors? Have you heard anything about it? Let's see here. Let's see if anybody says anything here in the comments. But yeah, no, I hadn't heard anything on that, bro. Let's see what else we got here. Mike Balerna also. Super chat. Jadon Blue wasted a roster spot. He sucked. Yeah, man, totally. Totally. He is the new Deuce Vaughn. Dane Brugler nailed his analysis. You know what I mean? He was going to be a project for whoever drafted him. And right now he looks like a project for the Cowboys. Malik Davis has leapfrogged this dude, a street free agent, familiar with their system, obviously, Mike. But Malik Davis has made a leapfrog over this dude. And he's looked good, man. He popped off a couple of good yards. You know what I mean? So what's your thought on that, Mike?
I liked when we signed Malik Davis back for that last or the last 2 preseason games, because I felt like Malik Davis in special teams was better. Because I remember sitting here, why the heck do we cut Malik Davis and Deuce Vaughn is still on the team? Deuce Vaughn can't play special teams. Malik Davis can't. I remember saying that, Joe. And so when they signed him back, Malik Davis looked slimmer, he looked better, and he looked more in shape. And I think Malik Davis can give you what they wanted from Jadon Blue. Again, just like that training camp report, we cannot trust Jadon Blue. He fumbled the last time we saw him play. What
Yeah.
coaching staff is going to believe in that type of guy? He's just going to be a practice squad type player. He's not going to get it. I dubbed him Deuce Vaughn 2.0 many weeks ago, and I still stand by that today.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, and I would do this, bro. If Pollard and the Titans, let's say the Titans blow up that roster and they make some moves and they cut Pollard. If he was available, I would bring him back on a cheap deal. You know what I mean, and let him be that lightning. He still has it. You know what I mean. I've seen some of his plays this season. He still has it. He still has that speed. Albeit he is getting up in there. Ultimately, Cowboys need to find a way to add another back into this mix if they don't bring back Javonte Williams. But yeah, Blue, and be careful of this. You're gonna see, and Mike, we talk about this all the time. The off season running in the beach, running around trash can. You're gonna see that from Jadon Blue. His PR team is gonna be like, "Hey, we can hoodwink these fans. Go out here, run around trash cans, run in the beach, run in the volleyball crap, and we'll hype you up." And then training camp is gonna hype him up, right, Mike? So, but you need a better caliber of a running back in here, and I hope they draft one somewhere in this draft.
Yeah, they have to, Joe. There's a lot of reports that the Cowboys are going to use the franchise tag on George Pickens, which is okay, but they got to figure out how to extend Jadon Blue. And I'm sorry, they have to figure out a way to extend Javonte Williams and keep Jadon Blue. Just cut him. Don't leave him hanging around like Deuce Vaughn. If he can't learn special teams, go ahead.
We have our low-key faded moment of the video.
Oh, bro, I'm low-key faded, bro.
Extending Jadon Blue. What a travesty that would be.
Javonte Williams.
I know what you meant, bro. Mike, this is a good question here. Conference Sports Lounge. Do y'all think Dak's body is declining like Romo? What do you think, Mike?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And it's the little – it started – Romo was little injuries, a pinky, a rib, collarbone, back. Dak went full-blown ankle facing northeast, south, and west. And then it went downhill from there. I'm not making fun of the injury. I'm just elaborating here. Then you got the shoulder injury. Then you got the cleanup ankle surgery. Then you got last year. What was it? His
that weird
hamstring.
throwing issue too. Remember that?
He had the baseball injury. Then he had his hamstring rip off the bone. Now he's on the injury report with the hip injury.
Yep.
Little fish lead to big fish. All right. And I'm not wishing injury. Don't ever quote me thinking that I'm wishing injury. But if you looked at Romo's career, little injuries led to the big injury. Dak has to do a better job protecting himself and staying right because you only get older. You only get older.
Yeah, you only get older, and the injuries they start stacking up. And I think that he is, man. I think it's his career is so eerily similar to Romo. You know, he's getting late 20s, 30s, and now just like we did with Romo, you're starting to, you want to add another guy in the mix to take under the wing or to have a succession plan ready. You know what I mean? And they kind of did that. I don't think they knew what they were going to get out of Dak when they drafted him, but at least Garrett had the foresight, you know, to say, hey, we need to draft this guy. You know, he has some tools and see what can happen there. Now we're a blink of an eye, man, from 2016 to where we're at now. Those conversations are starting to happen even from the fan base, Mike, like, hey, we need to start throwing some picks here. And they've tried, you know, they tried Trey Lance, you know, they tried with Joe Milton, but those dudes aren't it. You know what I mean? So definitely, man. I think that definitely his body's on decline, unfortunately. Mike, you just said the hip injury. You know, he was limited in practice. So, you know, how is that going to hold up in the game? Is his mobility going to be affected? You know, this is not a younger player where the hip injury probably heals within a day or two. This could linger into the game, Mike.
Oh yeah, it most definitely could, especially with Dak, because he twerks his body in a way when he tries to throw off his back foot. He just torques his body a certain way, and that to twerk your body, you got to twist your hips, you got to plant your feet a little different. You know, you got to move your arm, your throwing motion is just a little different. All that stuff can add up to that body, especially if something flared up in that hip. So yeah, it most definitely could hurt him come game day.
Brando, the gaming championship. This is going to be what you would call a shot over the bow. Only thing different is Romo can change the plays, but Dak can't do it. Yeah, that's one thing that I have really noticed, right? Like Romo, and this is a fact, right? What Brando's saying here is absolutely the truth, man. Romo changed a lot of the plays, bro, at the line. He was an auto burler connoisseur, you know what I mean? Where Dak is, I don't know if they're telling him not to do this, Mike, or if he doesn't feel comfortable doing it. I mean, he should. You know, this Garrett offense, he's had it since 2016. So, yeah, there is something to that. I do agree there with Brando on this one, Mike.
Yeah, I agree to a certain extent. I think I've seen Dak audible more this year than I have in previous years. Now, there's sometimes, depending on the situation that Dak sees on the field that the defense is in, it's really easy to confuse Prescott. But with Romo, it was easy for Romo to identify. It was almost like Romo was in the huddle towards later on in his career. I mean, it was like he knew the defensive play calling. And he would go up, kill. Jason, you stay. Hey, you do this, you do that. Boom, boom, bang. And you know, next thing you know, Terrence Williams or Des Bryant's in the end zone for a touchdown. Now, Dak Prescott, on the other hand, he'll see it, especially an all-out blitz. A blitz zero throws Dak for a whole loop, and I don't know why. I don't know. Hit the slant. Everybody knows on a blitz zero, call the slant. And Dak panics, dude. Dak panics big time. And I think that's the difference is Dak will audible, but if the defense is confusing him, he freezes.
Yeah. No, and if it's a defense that has gotten into his head, he freezes. Like we've seen that, where you can rattle a player physically. Nowadays you can because you can't hit the quarterback. But back in the day, back in the night, you could rattle a player with hitting him, blitzing him, this sort of thing. Now you rattle him mentally with different looks, forcing turnovers, interceptions. And I think that's where Dak is at when he faces the Packers, when he faces the 49ers, and any of these other teams that kind of own his number. Those ones stick out to me, Mike. Oh, and Denver too. Denver, Packers, 49ers. Like they know how to shut him down, bro. And it's always in the most important games of the year in the playoffs. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where you either have it or you don't have that, So,
and I think that's where people don't understand when I say we're not winning another game till week 17, week 18, is we got playoff caliber teams coming. And these guys, these teams know how to rattle Dak Prescott. You got to remember, the Chiefs, we were 4 years ago, we were the only defense to hold Patrick Mahomes to 19 points in Arrowhead Stadium. The first team to ever do it. Mm-hmm. And Dak Prescott couldn't get 20 points. Good teams know how to stop Prescott. And that was a really good offense that we had back then. So you gotta you just gotta know what you have, and what we have in Prescott against good teams isn't really good. I mean, that's why he beats good teams, and he can't really stay competitive against. We lose against bad teams. We lose against bad teams too. Hell.
We have a couple good questions here, Mike, and we'll take some of these here. Defending the boys. When does Phil Maffa come back, bro? Like, I think they're just trying to stash this guy away. To be honest, they want to get a looks at some of these other guys that are coming back, like Perrion Winfrey. We saw that. That's why they let go of Damone Clark. They had to get rid of somebody. So, Damone Clark, your time with the Cowboys is up, bro. Texans picked them up, however. So, they took on that money, man. It's good for the Cowboys. We're saving some money there on top of it. So, but Maffa, I don't know if he comes. I don't know if they're going to bring him back. He might be one of these stash kind of dudes. Mike, what's your thought on that? And what about Mingo? Traded fourth round dude, and he's nowhere to be seen, bro.
I think Phil Maffa would have came back if the injury was different, Joe. If the injury was, I don't know, a high ankle sprain injury, I think Maffa would be back by now. But when you re-aggravate the shoulder that sets you out in college, and you re-injure that, and what did he do it in preseason? In a preseason game?
Allegedly.
Bells and whistles go off for me, Joe. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I think it's wise that the Cowboys sit him the whole year. Redshirt him the whole year. Make sure that shoulder's up. Get him in a good health and conditioning program and get his body right to be able to play in the NFL. Because those hits from college to NFL, they only get harder, bigger, and faster hits there. So you got to make sure that he's up to speed there. Mingo. I think Mingo would have been back already if it wasn't for Jalen Tolbert not being traded. How is Mingo not back yet? And you got too much room in that wide receiver space. They cut Damone Clark. I think they made up some injury with Cornelius to put him on IR to make room for somebody. I don't know who the hell it was, but they're running out of these chess pieces to put people on this roster. That's why Mingo ain't back yet.
And that's a good point. They only have 2 IR moves remaining, so they have to pick it very wisely. And that's probably why we haven't seen either of those dudes on the field. I think they're stashed for next season. Honestly,
play safety.
Mike Lerner, 2 questions. What positions should we draft for defense in the first round? And should we consider trading down our second first-round pick we got from Green Bay? Mike, what's your thought on that one there?
I'm looking at Revel, Joe. I'm looking at Bland. I'm hoping these guys, and I'm looking at Kalen Carson. All right. If these guys can play really good ball the rest of the season, that saves you from drafting a corner or forces you from drafting a corner with that first pick, right? If Downs is available, give me Downs, okay? If you can get Downs with Kalen Carson, Deron Bland, and Siobhan Rebel there playing those cornerback positions, I think you can shop that second pick that we got from the Green Bay Packers, Mike. But if the Cowboys screw this up, and let's say they go O-line, all right, and they pass on Downs, then you have to draft somebody in the first round with that second pick because you screwed it up. It's either Downs, trade the pick, or screw it up and keep the pick. It's Cowboys ball. It's in their court.
I love it, bro. Great answer, man. Great answer. I too, I do that. I think you got to go defense. You know, like you're suggesting. You know, I'm looking at D line. I'm fortified. Give me the best pass rusher that's there. Yeah, I like the progression I'm seeing from Ezra Crew, but I want to see actual sacks. He's starting to find his way. Give me somebody opposite of him. You know what I mean? I don't want to mess around anymore with Dante Fowler kind of dudes. Jack Clowney. Get me a certified beast over here, or at least somebody that can complement him and have a good 1-2 combo there. And as far as the second one from Green Bay, you know what I mean? I think that the unless somebody's staring you right in the face there, like somebody you can't pass on, you know, I think you can trade down. You might even trade out of it and pick up another first for next season, and then you get back the first that you lost for Quinnen Williams, and you're almost getting the dude for free. Like the Cowboys, I said this last time, they could come out of this Quinnen Williams trade looking like you almost got the dude for free with certain draft maneuvers, all right? So I'm about that, you know, because I think you have to get at least a second or third rounder in there. I don't want to go from the first all the way to what, a comp fourth or a fifth rounder or something like that. Like we won't have a pick for a long ass time, Mike.
Yeah. Well, they have a fourth round pick, and they'll have that. They'll have fifth, they'll have sixth, they'll have seventh, but you won't have a day two.
Yeah, and then that hurts immensely. So you have to hit. You have to hit on the pick.
It won't hurt if they can score big with them picks, Joe. If they can get two fucking dogs, sorry for cussing, they can get two dogs, Joe. What picks? What picks?
It's got to be, bro. And it's got to be players that are ready to rock and roll. No more second round projects, bro. Like, I don't want to have to wait for a dude to come back from injury. You know what I mean? I want the guy ready to rock and roll in camp, mini camp, training camp, preseason, everything. I don't want to have to wait until the damn end of the year, like we did with Revel, right? And shout out to Revel. I think he had a pretty decent game for his first showing, so we'll see about that there.
I appreciate this, Conference Sports Lounge. He said, hit that like, subscribe, and share button. You're listening to the best of the best that always keep it 100, and that's Joe Rod and Big Mike. I'm even glad I tuned in. I missed this content for real. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate the love there.
Yeah, shout out to you, bro. We do appreciate that indeed very much, man. Great question, Mike. Appreciate that. Conference Sports Lounge, another super chat. Cowboys lose the next 3 games. Is it Joe Milton time? I made a video on this, and I do say yes. I think if you're out of it, you know, and if they go on any skid here between now and, you know, the beginning of December, it's over. You know what I mean? You won't. You literally have to go 6-1 and no worse to even have a shot, bro. So yeah, if they lose the next three, it is. Go ahead and confirm what a lot of us kind of already know and what we have in Joe Milton. Some people are still holding out that maybe he can develop, still and that kind of thing. But I would, bro. I would say the season's pretty much done. Let Dak chill out here, and roll it back next season. Mike, what's your thought, Mike?
Absolutely. You got to give these younger guys reps. And if you play Joe Milton, I know we just crapped on the guy, but I think you got to play Jadon Blue. I think you got to play, at that point, Siobhan Rebel's a month in. I think you could play him a lot more, see what you really have. You got to be able to just play your draft class. Just let them go. Play Nate Thomas. Put Hoffman back in there. Put TJ Bass back in there. See what you really have, and then that helps you build through the draft. Because if you can get Brock Hoffman or TJ Bass for cheap versus using draft equity and you know what you got, do it. If you're going to bench Dak, bench them all and start the guys that haven't really been playing.
Yeah, no, it is. It's something that they really would have to consider. You know what I mean? This team is very stubborn, though. Would they do it? Don't be surprised if they don't. You know what I mean? This might be one of those things where, no, we're gonna ride this whole thing out or whatever. So a lot of the times we know what is better for the team than what the damn team does, bro.
It's true. That is true, Joe.
This one's funny here. Drum King 7369, is a rumor true that bro Joe finally got new Wi-Fi and gave the finger to AT&T? I can confirm, bro, that this is in fact true. It is true. Yeah, I got rid of AT&T, bro. They were terrible. Terrible service, terrible internet, fiber supposedly. It wasn't even fiber, bro. It was I don't know what it was, but it was crappy, Mike.
It's so funny, and I don't know if people know this or not, but Gail Lewis, Morris, Illinois, 844, dude, she went through the same thing you went through. So AT&T promised her this fiber internet. She bought it. She signed a contract. She's in. Come to find out, the fiber optic internet lines ain't even ran in her neighborhood, and it might not even be ran, Joe. And it might not even be ran. And if it is going to be ran, it might take 2 to 3 years to do it. They suckered her in, dude. They should be sued for that, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Yeah, they are terrible, bro. I went Verizon, and I'm locked in for 5 years with these guys. They're not going to jack up my price and throw in these little bullcrap fees. You know what I mean? The AT&T's been doing that to me every year. $5 more. $5 more to provide service. Crappy service. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. And then they charge you for your equipment box, and it's the same equipment box that you signed up for 10 years ago.
Mission Impossible for McClay, Joe. Indeed. And it's well documented here, right? So drafting defensive players, it will be a challenge for this team, for McClay. Assuming he stays here, we know he signed a new deal. I think it was last off season, wasn't it, Mike? McClay signed a 3-year deal or some crap like that.
Yeah, they extended him last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. But that's not to say that maybe a better deal somewhere opens up and he takes it, But I don't know. But yeah, drafting defenders is not his thing, man. It just isn't. You have the one-off hits here like a Parsons, and this sort of thing. But we build this team to the draft, and defensively, we've been throwing and losing in that aspect. So, yeah, man, that early pick, Mike, bro, like we're talking about, man, I think that a safety would really be needed for this defense, a high-end one, because that's what this Marinelli Tampa 2 type of defense requires or really excels when you have a guy who can play deep and go sideline to sideline. So safety in need. Hooker, he's on the dang injury report. He just came back, dude. So I'm like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? We need durability and a high octane player back there to really give us some pop in the secondary, Mike.
Yeah, Hooker's back on there with the toe injury.
I know, man. The toe of all things, like, man, those are not good, bro.
Yeah, those are not good at all. Those toe injuries, they suck. All right, they suck.
No, they really do, Mike. But I think that's all we have tonight, guys. Great show. Cowboys, can they go 6-1 to have a shot at the playoffs? Honestly, don't think that they're going to. We'll see what happens. But that's the magic number. They cannot lose more than one game. They can lose one, and that's it. That's it. So we'll see what happens there, Mike. Mike, let everybody know where they can find you, bro, if they haven't already.
Yeah. You can find me right here, Cowboys Corner on YouTube. The First Report on Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Hit the notification bell so that way you get a notification what day it is. Talking Crazy Saturday, Freaky Friday on Fifth Quarter Cowboys on Friday. All right. Shout out to Cowboy Podcast, Cowboy Huddle Podcast. You can catch me there on Tuesdays and Wednesdays as well. But for the most part, guys, _Cowboys Corner on Twitter. All right. And if you're sensitive, don't follow me. If you can handle some hard-hitting critiques, give me a follow.
Yeah, man. That's where it's at, guys. We do appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next week for the next Frisco Report. Peace out, everybody.
Peace!